It is a case of old guards versus young thugs at ODM, that is Chungo House. Will ODM party actually stand the test of time? Well, that forms the basis of our conversation today here on Siasa Brigade, another insightful conversation on matters Kenya's political landscape and matters to do with resource governance therein. As usual, my name is Richard Mwenje. Such a pleasure and privilege to have you on board. With me, as usual, is none other than the statesman himself, Herman Manyora. Great to see you, sir.
Thank you.
You seem a little bit under the weather.
Yeah. We're cold. Yeah.
A cold?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with COVID-19?
No. Village boys like us, those are small matters.
Small matters?
Yeah.
We hope that you get on your feet soon enough, sir.
Thank you.
All right. You're looking great, by the way.
Thank you.
All right. We have seen recent spat in social media, the latest intrigues in Twitter spaces from ODM party. Babu Owino coming to the fore and actually crying out aloud. He was geared, rather the position of the chairmanship of the Public Accounts Committee, he says, was reserved for him. But it is said to go the way of John Mbadi, the nominated member of parliament. We've seen Ledamo Lekina side him, but of course the likes of George Kaluma side him with Mbadi, etc. Let's start from the tweet that actually has caused so much uproar on Twitter. Babu Owino is saying, ODM party, so many youth and myself sacrificed a lot and used our resources in the party over the years. Our pay is betrayal and blackmail. Tomorrow is still another day. If I have not got that tweet actually wrong. We've seen him is coming on crying aloud. From where you sit, we continue to see this transactional nature of Kenyan politics. In as much as politics is a game of interest, sir. Don't you think for ODM party, such a vibrant that it has been, right now they're just showing extreme entitlement that could lead the party to oblivion?
These are people, I don't know what to call them. See, the party has suffered badly. Azimio has suffered badly. This is not time to engage in cheap infighting, fighting over positions. I want to remind Babu Owino, my student and my good friend. Parliamentary Accounts Committee, Public Accounts Committee, when we have a system with an opposition in the parliament, you know we don't have an opposition in parliament, we have minority. It is usually reserved for the leader of the opposition or somebody from that party. It is supposed to be one of the most senior members, if not the most senior. I very much doubt that Babu fits that bill of one of the most senior members of ODM, or Azimio for that matter. So, he should not go crying about PSC. And the PSC is a position of service. It has so much work that a young man who is supposed to be moving around, enjoying his life, should not even be fighting to have it. So the question you must ask yourself, why do people fight to have that chair?
Probably to deliver.
To eat.
Come on. Yeah. Such a crucial committee.
Accusations, revelations have shown that members of the PAC always cut deals with people they are scrutinizing. Public Accounts Committee is a powerful committee. It is the one committee that puts the government of the day in check. So we look here. There is a scandal within the Ministry of Agriculture. Huge amounts of money have been spent. And there's corruption detected. So the Public Accounts Committee has that oversight role. The mandarins within that sector can defeat that purpose of scrutiny by merely bribing members of the Public Accounts Committee. And we have been told this happens. I'm not making it up here.
In as much as you are saying that such a position should go to a majority, actually a senior citizen of that party,
yes,
we are seeing them, they somewhat have just a problem, more of a self-problem with
That's what I'm
John
saying.
Mbadi.
There is an eating position. Let's not beat around the bush.
But then again, they say John Mbadi has already been nominated to the National Assembly. That is enough gift from the party.
It's not about a gift. No, I don't even support Mbadi. But I'm saying it must go to a person. Look, even the training of Mbadi puts him in a better state than Owino.
Babu Owino.
Yeah, because Mbadi is an accountant by training.
Then again, we've seen still this part go into a rather ugly position. If I'm going to quote the tweet from Babu Owino, we've seen John Kaluma, I should say, George Kaluma sided with John Mbadi, but Leader Makina is on the side of Babu Owino. Perhaps why this exchange whereby George Kaluma is saying, Babu Owino, it will heal the day DJ Elvol will get up. And Babu Owino responded by saying, George Kaluma, by the way, did your gonorrhea heal? When it gets to such an ugly spurt of words, yet there's an electorate who selected you to go into parliament to represent them. In matters coming to extreme measures in terms of decency and decorum, don't you think that both these two leaders are taking it overboard?
This is the riffraff you take to parliament. When other countries are taking serious people to parliament, these are the people you take to parliament.
Don't you think now that portrays bad light in the side of the image of Raila Odinga because the party leader?
I said it. People must learn from what's going on. People must learn from Raila. People must learn from Ruto. I said, gone should be the days when people come up wanting to be members of parliament. You remember me saying here? I said political parties and leaders of political parties must now move into the phase where they scout for talent. Don't wait for these wash-wash characters. Come and look for Manyora. Tell him you are a capable person. Leave what you are doing. We are taking to a safe constituency, which is Langata. This is ours. You guarantee you will win. We want you in parliament. Richard Mwenja, you are a capable person. The party, UDA, needs you in parliament. We have a safe seat. Here, go and take it. That is the first political leaders must now enter. And I talked about it. So that if Raila had done that, he would now be having like 20 to 30 quality MPs, quality members of parliament, who will be an example to the others. A man who speaks in parliament and everybody listens. Okay? A man who speaks sense. A woman who does research. A woman whose background puts her in a position she can be a serious member of parliament. But if you say anybody who comes up with the one who will be elected, we will end up with this riffraff you are seeing.
But even when it comes to nomination to parliament, we still see efficiency and expertise take a back row seat. Still, sycophants are given the position.
Those are the things we are. It's a national problem. It's not an ODM problem. It's not an Azimio problem. It's not a UDA problem. It's a national problem.
National problem.
This country has not come to terms with the reality that it is leadership that will save this country from collapse.
At some point, sir, we saw Jubilee Party. It was the firebrand political party in this country.
Yes.
Over time, no one knew it. At some point, it could go into political oblivion. We've seen it not being able to stand the test of time. ODM is similarly in that route, in as much as there have been infightings before that actually have stood against. For this time round, if just a few days after the election, they're already on this trajectory, don't you think that this time round, this will not even be redeemable for ODM party?
I wouldn't want to say so, but I'm saying it will take a beating. Every party in the country, UDA included, must work within the understanding of the changing times. If you want to run a party the way it was running 20 years ago, you'll go down. One thing you must be aware is we need to bring new blood. We need to have new ways of doing things, new ways of recruiting members of parliament. And the party must play an instrumental role in identifying people to go to parliament and not take a backseat and wait for people to come. You get to wash people.
If you're talking about getting new blood into these parties,
yes,
many Kenyans, if you look at the side of Kenya Kwanza and UDA, it's largely comprised of young leaders. It is the cry from the side of people like Oledamo Lwakina saying the likes of Orengo, it's time they probably retire, or John Mbadi, and give a leeway for young leaders. Don't you think it is high time ODM forges that route?
Would you want to replace Orengo with a wash person? Just because they are young? No. New blood does not mean age. Age is a consideration, but it's not everything.
Not everything?
We cannot bring wash young boys to parliament and say that's the change this country requires.
It is the same young boys who've taken Ruto to presidency.
I'm saying, look here, being president is nothing. I'm talking of a bigger thing. I'm talking about the country. I'm not talking about being president. Being president is a small thing. Because you'll be president and 5 years or 10 years, you'll go home. That's nothing. I'm looking at the country. And I'm answering your question. I'm telling you, new blood does not mean young boys or young girls. Better if they are young, but doesn't mean that. But the fundamental issue here is you cannot replace Orengo with a wash-wash young boy. Replace Orengo with a better Kenyan than him.
Regardless of his age or her age.
Yes.
Right now we're seeing Raila Odinga, of course, the party leader of ODM. He is seated, but around him is just being bombarded with questions, commands actually. Everyone wants a reward here and now. Everyone seems to have actually contributed to his progress in political history this far in Kenya. For Raila Odinga, as a senior citizen who has analyzed politics, and probably you have a better way of advising him, what should they do right now in the middle of all this confusion?
You know, unfortunately, the mistake has already been made. When you pack a party with these useless fellows, what do you expect? How can you correct that? It's not easy. Most of these people are useless fellows. So you cannot correct them.
Is there a wiggle room for Raila to amend this? And probably if he'll go for the seat in 2027, he will have...
He will try, but he has to learn in the future. Not just Raila, Ruto, Musalia Mudavadi. Everyone must now learn. The thing I'm telling Kenyans now, you know, I'm sometimes ahead of people in thinking. And people call me all man of names. Don't wait for people to come, then they buy positions during nominations. Most of them buy this position. We know. Don't wait for loyalists who sing your tune from morning to evening.
Yes, ma'am.
To come and get them. Look for people. Go out. Go beyond the people who present themselves. And look for people. Scout for talent. It is what is making Australia, UK, and these other countries. It is what is making their parties vibrant. The idea that you cannot wait for people to present themselves. You also bring people. You scout for talent. Because there are many people who can make very good members of parliament. To serve a political party, serve parliament, serve these countries, and in fact, serve humanity. But because of the nature of our politics, they stand no chance.
Come on.
Yeah, they stand no chance.
All right.
The same is true of women. Women may not stand much chance in the rough and tumble of politics. So a political party noticing there's a good woman, you are an ODM. You know anywhere in Syria, an ODM candidate will win. So go and look for that woman, professor. Tell her, well, professor, watch a class for 10 years. We want you to serve your country in parliament. Someone, I know I don't have money. No, don't worry. Hey, my job, don't worry. You get it? Then take her to a Lego Songa. Let her become an MP there. That way, every party shall have serious members of parliament. Which, of course, you'll mix with this riffraff that Kenyans will give
once in a while.
Yeah.
For political mileage here and there.
Yeah.
All right, sir. We have seen over 6.5 million Kenyans who actually voted for Azimio. And out of that, there are millions who actually voted for ODM candidates. They are in.
Yes.
There have already been talks of possible malice after Azimio lost, even during the times of campaign. We've seen revelations come on board of probably infighting even before the election that led to the Azimio loss. When now they sit back, barely a month after the election, and they see such revelations from the people like Babu Owino, Ledamo Lekina, and George Kaluma, don't you think that now it solidifies their guesses?
They are lucky I'm not the party leader. I'm not Raila.
What could you have done different?
I'll tell them off.
Come on.
I'll tell them off.
Don't you think it's solidifying their guesses?
I'll tell them off. I'll tell them go to hell. This country has bigger problems. We have bigger challenges. If you think what you want to do is fight for these cheap positions, then you have no business being a member for a party. Go away. Join another party.
But as the party leader, Raila Odinga, yourself, that woman who voted for you in Kisumu is now solidifying the cases that there are people who probably...
Many of these people were voted for because of Raila. Why didn't they try another party other than ODM or UDA? They were voted not because they are very good. They were voted because of UDA, because of Ruto. They should not pretend otherwise. Let's not pretend. You are an MP, Babu Owino, not because you are Babu Owino. You are an MP because of Raila's name and ODM.
Without Raila in the picture, you will have lost.
Be there. You'll be beaten hands down. Why don't you try? So if I'm Raila, I'll tell you off.
How then does
I'll call them and give them Msomo and tell them, go get, Uhuru used to do that once in a while. Get out of this place.
But
And go and do what you want to do.
They are giving him already threats of leaving and decamping.
They can
from
leave.
UDA.
They can leave. What this country requires is qualitative leadership.
Not quantitative.
No. Even if Raila remained with 10 people who understand where this country ought to go and are willing to stay and fight for this country, it's good enough.
Can a revolution happen from just such a basic
Even
number?
It has been done by 2 people, by 1 person, by 3 people, by 7 people in Libya. Look at revolutions. Kwani watu wanaenda marketplace kwanza revolution? No.
Miguna, talking about...
Revolutionary thinking is not for everybody. These others are just passengers. If I'm Raila, I'll call these people and tell them, you are embarrassing me, you are embarrassing the party, you are embarrassing people of ODM, you are embarrassing people who voted for you, and you are embarrassing Kenyans. Those of you who are young, you are embarrassing people of your age, because people are saying leadership must pass on to your generation. Do you look like people who can be trusted with leadership? Go out of this, get out of this room today, this hall. Either you change or go where you want to go.
Talking matters revolution.
And then I take my things and walk out.
I see.
Yes.
If you're talking matters revolution, we've seen Miguna actually bring forth his travel back itinerary. He's expected to jet into the country on 20th. That is what he's saying. We've seen him being part of the national resistance movement, and some say that he has always wanted the position of to be the opposition, the chief opposition leader in Kenya after Raila faces out.
Yes.
Even if he comes back this time round as a reality that he jets back into the country,
Yes.
do you think he can really challenge Raila Odinga as he has groomed himself to make many people believe?
Raila is not God. He can be challenged by anybody, Miguna included.
And overshadowed?
But if you ask me, Miguna is just a joker. The first stop for Miguna to challenge Raila is to go and have a meeting in Kisumu.
In Kondele?
Hata sio Kondele. Ende tu Kenyatta Stadium.
But if Wajakoya could get such numbers...
Which numbers? Did he get a 6 million?
Did you see the crowds in the stadium?
You go there when you are saying you are challenging Raila. Why don't you go?
He said hundreds
Let Miguna go to Kisumu and challenge Raila. It's a very good thing. I'll join him.
Information out here
I'll
is
be
that
part of the crowd. Actually, I'll be on the, with him.
A mammoth crowd is expected to welcome him at Jomo Kenyatta Airport.
Which? I've seen many jokers. This country has produced many jokers, including one Balala somebody, who convinced the Germans he was coming to take over this country.
Or the other one who brought General, was it China? The fake General
This country has had many jokers. To get leadership and following is not a small matter. You don't just shout on Twitter. Yeah, no.
It doesn't actually turn into votes.
Miguna cannot take over from Raila. How? In fact, he'll be beaten up.
Well, there you
He's a good friend of mine. But Raila's position cannot be taken by Miguna.
In as much as Ahmed Nasir has so much confidence in Miguna.
And who tells you there's a space to be occupied? Raila is still there. Raila is a young man.
A young man, you say?
Yeah, you saw him the other day.
We'll talk about it next week on Business Glide. Let's shelve it for next week. My name is Richard Mwenje. Such a pleasure to have you on such a conversation of CSO Brigade. There you have it from Herman Manyora, a very funny man, but very, very much endowed with matters to do with public knowledge that can really help this country in forging ahead, not just in matters politics, but also in resource governance and just taking charge of our economy. Each day, we endear ourselves and commit ourselves to producing such educative series, so make sure you get posted. On our channel, we have an array of shows lined up for you. Political Conversation with Jadiel Kabiro and Simon Irungu coming with the big question. So make sure you subscribe to this channel and also keep supporting us beyond here on our social media platforms and wherever you see the name Herman Manyora or Nairobi Review Company. Until next time, God bless.